Hey Freedom Family, this is Mark and I am glad you're here at _Freedom for Life _. Today we're going to be talking about self-image. But before we get started, remember the three things you need to do. You need to subscribe because we have content that's going to change your life forever, and you won't be able to do it if you're not subscribed and seeing the videos. And speaking of which, hit that notification so that every time we upload content, you're going to be able to see it. Third is this. Hit that like button if something is resonating with you. Fourth is this. That's right, I give you a bonus one. Number 4, share it with somebody who needs it, because there are things that people need in their lives that I believe they're going to get from this content. But let's get started, shall we? As I said, we're talking about self-image today, and you may remember that we've talked about it before. In fact, in this video, we talked about self-image from this perspective, understanding who you're not. That you're not necessarily what your experiences have told you, what people have told you, or maybe even sometimes what you believe, that there are things that have been spoken over you that have limited you. We also talked about it in this video, about not comparing yourself to other people. You know, the Instagram famous folks that we look at and think, well, our life should be there right now. We talked about being on that road, and maybe you're not there yet, but you're exactly where you're supposed to be and you're on your way to getting there. Do you remember that? Check out those 2 videos I just mentioned to be able to get that content. But today we're going to talk about celebration. And this is where that confetti cannon should be going off, and you should just be able to see all of that stuff happening, because here's the truth of the matter. You're worth it. You're worth celebrating. One of the things we probably do least, even whether you're a high achiever or somebody who's just trying to get through your day, is this: celebrating who I am. And so today, the secret to self-image is this: celebrating who I am right now. The truth of the matter is, what you may know or may not know is this: you've got gifts, you've got talents, you've got abilities, you've got a calling on your life that's yours and yours alone. And just knowing that is worth celebrating. And I mean really celebrating, actually being able to say, man, I really love that about myself. It's not ego, it's not arrogance, it's actually believing in yourself in a way that you see the things that you're good at coming to pass. And no one's saying that, oh, gifts and talents. Well, some people are saying, that's not me. I'm not really good at anything. Well, first off, I just need to tell you that you need to stop lying to yourself, because that isn't the truth. The truth is that there are things on the inside of you that are yours alone, and maybe you're just not seeing them yet. So what I want to give you right now is a life hack, a way for you to maybe start to see things if you don't already know it. And the first one is this: hey, what are you passionate about? What's the thing that you find yourself doing? You know, if you're passionate about something, that's a huge flag that says, hey, this is something I'm going to be good at if I'm not already. The second thing is, what do you find yourself looking at? What do you find yourself viewing? What do you find yourself trying to feed yourself through YouTube videos, through Instagram, those things that you are interested in that other people aren't? And speaking of interested, maybe the thing is, there's a skill that you have. Maybe you're amazing at doing hair or makeup or writing or figuring out numbers or throwing a football. I mean, whatever it is, what's the thing that you're good at that you see yourself better than other people at? Not that you're better than them, but you do this thing better. These are all things that say, hey, this is something on the inside of me that's different, unique, and special, and that's what you are. And in that, celebrating that. And as we've talked about in previous videos, hey, your gifts, your talents, your abilities, they're not your identity, but they certainly are a part of who you are. So I'm not saying make my job everything and that's exactly who I am, but what I am saying is there's things that you do that are worth celebrating, maybe on a daily basis. And why don't you do it? Not just for the fact that it feels good and it makes you feel good on the inside, but because of this. And I know I'm going to get a little science geeky on you right now. But there are these things, I don't know if you know about them, they're called neural pathways. Science has shown that in our brain there's these pathways, neural pathways, that habitual thoughts and actions cause to happen. And so what happens is you have this thing that you do habitually over and over again, and all of a sudden a neural pathway is designated in your brain so that that action is easier and those thoughts continue to run in your head. And so what happens when I celebrate is I create neural pathways, of which, by the way, Neural pathways can be things that are good, healthy thoughts and actions and abilities and desires that you have. They can actually also be things that are bad. Thoughts that I have about, oh, I can't do this, or I'm always going to be a failure. The things we keep talking about, there's actually a scientific basis for breaking those things up, for changing them, for reversing them, for believing something else, because it actually changes the neural pathways in your head. So when you start celebrating the things you're good at, now all of a sudden you find yourself less critical about who you are. You find yourself less negative about the actions and the things that you've taken, the decisions and the things that you say. You actually create neural pathways in your brain that reinforce what you believe about yourself. Self-image, right? And when you continue to believe it about yourself, you continue to think it about yourself, and you continue to act it out in your life. So there's actually a scientific purpose for the things that we're asking you to do. But here's one that's probably going to blow your mind. Not your neural pathways, but your mind. And it is this. I'm inviting you today also to do something that most people won't tell you to do. Celebrate the things that you're not good at. The things that you're horrible at, the things that you have 2 left feet with, the things that you can't do even on your best day. And the reason is because each of those, the things I'm amazing at, the things I'm horrible at, create this unique, one-of-a-kind creation with your name on it. We have a lot of folks, and I believe this myself, yeah, celebrate what I'm good at. Pump myself up for those things I do well, but what I also understand is this. There's a whole picture of who you are, and it's not just what you're great at, it's what you're not good at. The way that you're uniquely developed and grown and created, the unique calling on your life is directed by what you love to do and what you're great at and what you don't love to do, and so you don't do. Sometimes we beat ourselves up, right? Because I'm an athlete and I'm not good at academics. I'm an artist, but I'm not really great at accounting, right? All of that together creates who you are. There was this interesting fact I learned about paintings. I'm not a painter, I'm not an artist in that sense, but I learned this about paintings. You know how they put paint on a canvas, right? And it's textured and it's got bumps and it's got all this stuff. The interesting thing I found out about paintings and hearing from somebody who was an expert was this. It's not just the paint on the page that makes it beautiful, but it's also the shadows that are created by the textured paint on that page. That's the reason why a print looks so flat and so ugly and two-dimensional. But when you see something from a great artist and you look at it up close, you see these little waves and these little bumps of paint, these globs of paint all over the place, and the shadows they create when they're hit with the light. It makes such a textured picture, it almost comes to life. Have you ever seen a picture like that? It's the same thing about our lives. It's not just the paint on the page, the gifts and the talents we have. It's the shadows they create in those places that we're not good at. The whole picture creates this texture of who you are and brings your life to life as you see yourself in full context of all that you are. So I ask you to do this today. Celebrate. Confetti cannon, right? Fireworks in the sky, whatever it takes, celebrate the things that you're good at. Even if you're not good at them yet, the things that you're passionate about, you're going to be amazing at someday. And there's no harm in celebrating in advance, but celebrate this as well. Celebrate the things that you're not good at. You know, not those life chores, right? I'm not good at finances. Well, there's certain things you should at least be adequate at. But you can't be somebody else, and so why would you look at yourself with the context of who they are and what they're great at? Celebrate who you are, and you'll start to have a picture of the true self-image of who you are. And in that place, you're going to be unstoppable. And I believe in you in that, and I can't wait to see it in you as you become famous for who you are, not who somebody else told you you were. My name is Mark. We are so glad that you're here. _Freedom for Life _. We are here to give you the tools, the truth, and the knowledge to get you from where you're at to where you're called and created to be. Self-image is understanding where you're called and created to be, a step at a time, a page at a time, an action and a thought at a time. Man, you're in the right place. As I said before, subscribe, because there's things that we're going to say that you need to hear, things I need to hear. So be a part of it. Subscribe. Hit that like button if there's something that you're enjoying, something that's resonating with you, and hit the notification so you don't miss any of the content, any of the tools, the truths, and the knowledge that we put up for you. And please put a comment down below. Let us know where you're at, even topics that you'd like for us to talk about. And I will talk to you next time. Have a great week.